First and foremost, thanks to Butchie Smalls, who sent me this information on Twitter. I do appreciate that's probably not his name on a birth certificate, but nevertheless, thanks for sending me the news. The WBA has ordered a tournament-style event to help bring together some of its various heavyweights who hold versions of its title. You know, current state of play: Tyson Fury, WBA Super Champion; Luis Ortiz, WBA Interim Champion; and Chagaev, WBA Regular Champion. Now, this isn't a tournament like a Super 6 tournament. This is a tournament that they have created largely around existing fights. Not totally dissimilar to what the WBC have done with the welterweight division, where they've made Danny Garcia versus Robert Guerrero, and then they've thrown in Lamont Peterson versus Berto and Amir Khan. You know, it is the WBA have loosely put together a tournament. I mean, there are kind of 4 semi-final type matchups, which I'll talk through in a minute. So the basic setup is, as we know, Ruslan Chagaev is facing Lucas Browne. That's quarterfinal 1, so we say. Quarterfinal 2 is actually just one man. It's Freza Oquendo, because he's got a court order, as we know from the Oquendo-Chagaev matchup, that he will get a fight against the winner. So that's one half of the tournament. The winner of Chagaev-Browne must fight Oquendo. Now, as we say, we kind of already knew that, so I don't think it's added anything new. Now, also on the other side of the tournament, you've got Luis Ortiz versus Ustinov. Again, we knew that. And Tyson Fury versus Vladimir Klitschko, which once again we knew. So all of these 4 quarterfinals, for want of a better phrase, are already in the public arena, and it's not as if the WBA are doing something different by ordering this tournament. What I guess I would say is the semi-final between the winner of Fury-Klitschko and the winner of Ustinov-Ortiz, I didn't actually realise that that would be a mandatory fight on Tyson Fury should he be victorious against Klitschko. I had kind of assumed that Luis Ortiz, should he beat Ustinov, would actually fight the winner of the Chagaev-Browne-Oquendo love triangle. So this is good news for a number of guys, actually. It's quite good news for Ustinov and Ortiz. It means they're literally one fight away for fighting for the WBA Super Championship. You know, both of those guys are old guys. We're talking about guys who are in their late 30s here. You know, Ortiz unbeaten. Ustinov only got 1 loss on his record. You know, both of them are not the most fashionable fighters. Neither of them, I suspect, have the biggest array of fans. They're probably not guys who the majority of opponents are queuing up to fight. You know, they're not boxers who with a huge following amongst the casual market. So, you know, that's an interesting one, really. It means that these 2 guys, one of them is going to fight Tyson Fury. Now, one would suspect that Luis Ortiz would be the winner of that fight. So Ortiz-Fury certainly gets me excited from a boxing fan perspective. I mean, Ortiz is a very, very highly rated heavyweight. Tyson Fury, the new champion, looks the #1 heavyweight out there, but Ortiz is a very, very considerable test. And it's good, well, you know, I know there's a lot of question marks over Ortiz's age, but I guess from a competition standpoint, it would be beneficial that that fight took place before Ortiz got too old, because, you know, if that fight took another 2 years, he'd be, what, in his 40s, I guess. So that would mean that age would be more of a factor. Now, from Tyson Fury's perspective, it's probably not the best news. You know, let's be honest, if Ustinov were to win, Fury-Ustinov is not a big fight. It's not a big money fight for the champion. Ortiz, that's a high-risk, low-reward fight. You know, Ortiz is known to us boxing hardcores, but not outside of that circle. So I wonder if Tyson Fury is cursing the sanctioning body here. You know, I wonder if he's not overly happy and is once again being in a difficult position regarding one of his belts. If the IBF and WBC belts stay fragmented with Charles Martin and Deontay Wilder, I suspect Fury may be inclined to relinquish the WBA belt and hold on only to his remaining belt, which is the WBO belt. Because I don't really think Tyson Fury is the kind of individual who's necessarily going to be motivated by fighting mandatory challenges over and over again. You know, Vladimir Klitschko did do that, and that's very much to Vladimir Klitschko's credit. Bernard Hopkins did it, and that's very much to Bernard Hopkins' credit. But Fury's a different type of individual. He seems for me to be more motivated by the big event. And I just wonder, there's going to be so much money out there for him to fight the likes of, Joshua. I wonder if he's really going to be motivated to fight mandatories, especially low-paying mandatories like Ustinov, or very high-risk mandatories like Luis Ortiz. I mean, from a fan perspective, I'd love to see Fury Ortiz. But from a business perspective, I can acknowledge that it maybe doesn't make sense to the same extent. Now, if Wilder was to unify against Charles Martin, and there's a huge suggestion that he will look to do that, then it does incentivise Fury to try and keep hold of that belt. Because if Fury keeps hold of that belt, he comes to the party with 2, and Wilder comes to the party with 2 belts. And the winner of that fight is the fully unified heavyweight champion of the world, which certainly adds some star power to an event. You know, that would be a mega fight. So if that were to happen, I think Fury's got to do all within his power to keep the WBA belt. But if Wilder and Martin go separate ways and those belts stay fragmented, I think it almost matters less if Fury was to relinquish one of his 2 belts. Anyway, I've digressed there. We'll come back to that maybe in a later topic. So, let's look into the crystal ball a bit here. Who are going to be the semi-finalists? Well, we know for a fact that Fraser Quendo is one semi-finalist, and he will fight the winner of Lucas Browne versus Ruslan Chagaev. Let me say I'd pick both of those guys over Fraser Quendo. I know Frez did well against Chagaev in the first fight, and Chagaev looked poor that day. But Quendo is ancient now. He's not going to be beating those 2 guys. I can't see it. So I think that whilst Quendo will be an annoying mandatory obligation for them, it's a very winnable fight. You know, I don't know if Quendo's taken a fight since that Chagaev matchup. I don't suspect he has, so he's been very inactive for an older guy as well. Now, a lot of people think Lucas Browne's going to win this Chagaev matchup. I am siding with Chagaev. I know some real respected people, you know, people like Dwyer, who's I'm a fan of, as you know, really think that Lucas Browne's going to beat Chagaev. But, you know, don't get me wrong, Chagaev's nothing special. I don't think Chagaev's unbeatable by any stretch, but I'm not yet to be utterly convinced by Lucas Browne. He seems very slow, defensively inept. Just look at the trouble Rudenko gave him compared to how Hughie Fury dealt with it. So I suspect Chagaev wins that, and I also suspect Chagaev beats Quendo a second time. Now, for Tyson Fury, how unappealing is it to fight the winner of Ustinov versus Ortiz and Chagaev? You know, he's the heavyweight champion of the world. He wants the huge mega showdowns. Wilder, Joshua, and he's staring down the barrel of a Ustinov-Ortiz-Chagaev matchup. You know, don't get me wrong, Ortiz and Lucas Browne, they'd be decent fights, you know, they'd do well. But if it's Ustinov and Chagaev, I mean, those would not be big events. They would not be on most people's calendars. I mean, how many people in the UK would know who Ustinov and Chagaev even were? You know, so I think it's tough on Fury. As with all these things, we'll have to see how strictly the WBA enforce it. One suspects that they might give a little bit of leeway, but it would be interesting to see how it goes down. But essentially, I guess the biggest news here is that the Fury-Klitschko winner will be mandated to fight the Ustinov-Ortiz winner. And that's news to me. And the winner of that fight will have to fight the winner of the Browne-Chagaev winner versus Quendo. God, imagine if it's Fury or Quendo. That would really be dire stuff, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean, that would be a new low. Of course, the one variable that I haven't mentioned at all in this video is a 6'7" variable by the name of Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko is no certainty to lose against Tyson Fury. Vladimir Klitschko is a very dangerous operator who I respect massively as a fighter. Look, Tyson Fury did a job on him last time. Tyson Fury deserved to win. and Tyson Fury won with a little bit in hand. But we'll be talking about this a lot more in the lead up to that fight, but people should not be ruling out Vladimir Klitschko, and of course he comes back into the mix massively with any upset in the Tyson Fury rematch. Anyway, I wanted to announce that the WBA tournament is in existence. I'm not sure how many people know about it. And I guess I also wanted to talk through some of the matchups. I mean, Fury versus Houston of Ortiz, that's new to me, so I wanted to publicise it. I guess we also get a lot of messages about prospects, you know, which route you see Anthony Joshua going down, which route you see Joseph Parker going down. Well, what I would say, the WBA does not look like the right route at this particular moment, let's put it that way, you know. The WBC doesn't look like a good route either. I mean, how long has Povetkin been the mandatory for that belt and that fight hasn't happened? So, you know, WBA looks clogged. You know, that looks like this tournament's going to take up 18 months, 24 months. Who knows? Who knows? WBC, they look after their champions a bit more. You know, so it's the... it really is the IBF and WBO routes that the prospects should be going down for quick results. Let me know your thoughts on this tournament. Is this news to you? Are you interested? Who do you see coming out on top of this tournament? Many thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, give me the thumbs up. I'm just about to post an updated top 30 heavyweight rankings. So if you like your heavyweight boxing and you tuned in to this video for that, please hit the subscribe button. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on my rankings video. Many thanks for watching.